It's Kentucky back on the field, and then Ray Davis, all day Ray. Man, oh man, is Davis doing it up.
This is Tootin taking it to his left, got a seam. Facial Tootin on the move, got some alleys out there. Beep, touchdown!
Back shoulder throw, he's got it. It's Tez Johnson. Johnson, call him Johnson, touchdown.
Is their defense. Little hole there to the right side, first down and then some. Jeremiah Love, touchdown Notre Dame.
It's Williams in motion, low snap, Melrose stopped. Michigan makes a stand and comes up with a milestone playoff victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Week Zero podcast. Today, I am your host, Ryan Fravel. Connor is busy doing life things, working his butt off. Shout out to Connor. So we got Lucas and we got Phil, the Maze Madman himself, here tonight.
Upset.
He is upset about Southern Utah being picked on by the NCAA for tampering. But guys, how are you doing? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yes, it has. And you know how much stuff has happened in college football? Pretty much nothing.
Go blue.
Yeah.
Already, man.
Yeah, go blue, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I haven't had the chance because I do not have Twitter any longer. Taking a break at least until college football season starts, so I can talk my talk and not go in circles with these Michigan and Ohio State fans.
Yeah. Welcome to the Big Ten, by the way. It has been a while. We got a big game.
Yeah,
you gotta travel to A2. It's gonna be a hostile environment. That's neither here nor there, though. Anyway, I'm not sure if you guys saw, Lucas. I'm sure you didn't, since you've gotten rid of social media. But Bryce Underwood had some things to say. Actually, he didn't say anything, which was the thing to say about Michigan and why he chose LSU. But that's neither here nor there. Ryan, go ahead.
All right. So first things first, we're going to talk about some legal stuff. I know it's a college football podcast, but there's some legal shit going on in the college football universe. First things first, the NCAA came to a settlement to agree to pay $2.7 billion to former and current student athletes and their schools, all the way dating back to 2016 till now, basically considered back pay for players not being able to receive NIL back then. So it seems like it's going to open the door for these schools to openly pay for play. And then there's an agreement that the NCAA came up with each college and university that each university will receive $20 million from the NCAA themselves, and they can use that money for whatever they want with no repercussions. Phil, first things first, what were your thoughts on this, and how do you think it impacts college football?
Well, I think the writing was on the wall. We saw Reggie Bush get his Heisman Trophy back, right? And we know that was he was deemed ineligible or whatever because of accepting gifts from a booster, I believe. So I think the writing was on the wall for the NCAA once that was awarded back to Reggie Bush, that they were going to try to settle this case because it could have gotten a lot more expensive. In fact, settling this case also settles 3 other cases that were filed by the same law firm, I believe. And what it means is those cases can't be pursued anymore. There are a couple others on the docket that just aren't under the umbrella of that law firm. But I think it's long overdue, man. I've been a person on my channel who's championed the fact that these kids deserve money, that deserve to be compensated in whatever way, some way, because their likeness has been used for forever, right? By the NCAA, by these universities, by the conferences, and they've made billions of dollars, right? They're printing money basically off the backs of these kids. And I understand that they're getting a free education. Everybody likes to say that, but in my opinion, education should be free anyway. But I'm not going to make this a political thing. So I think it's long overdue. Let me just say that.
Yeah, Lucas, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I second that, but the issue that I have with all of it, and I've had this from the very start, is that this becomes the trickle effect of everything that's going on, right? So now you have, okay, now they're going to pay some stuff to some of these guys that couldn't get the NIL. Well, what if you have this guy that played in, 1902, he's 100 years old, and he's like, wait, all right,
yeah. Where's my money at?
Even if it isn't for him, what if he wants for his great grandkids? What if he's like, well, I should earn some of this money. You got a guy like who is that quarterback for Notre Dame?
What?
He put Notre Dame, right? The guy.
No, you talking about Hornibrook?
No. It was back in the fucking dark ages. It was like Hornsby or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, he was a good quarterback back in the day. Something like that. Or like you got a guy like Tim Tebow who has, outwardly said, I would have been a billionaire in college football if I was able to make money off of my name, image, likeness.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to pay him what he would have likely been paid. So I just think there's like this big trickle effect. If we get to the point where, and we are actually at that point where we're going to start being able to pay these kids straight from the colleges, which we spoke about this before the show a little bit with like the tampering stuff that I'm sure we'll get into. Obviously teams like Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, all these teams have been basically paying these kids from the college from the get-go. It's never really been an NIL like outside organization, but now that it's like allowed, how much are these kids going to get, and how much are they able to give the kids, and how much further back does this put teams such as, please don't touch that. Okay. How far back is that going to put teams like, say, a Purdue or a Oregon State, like these teams that can't produce that kind of money? Like, are we going to become an NCAA where it's only like a group of 25 teams that can actually compete? Because I that's not college football to me.
Yeah, I think you're going to see with this litigation that we're going to start seeing the rich get richer. And you're going to see like the Tulanes of the world, the Cincinnatis of the world, the Boise States of the world slowly start to fall off because they simply just can't afford to pay players like that. And I think eventually what it's going to lead to is you're going to have the core four, not the Power Five. It's the core four now. They're going to end up leaving the NCAA and create their own, league by their own rules. I think that's what's eventually going to happen. And then they're going to basically relegate, Tulanes and all these smaller schools to the NCAA, and we'll have two different Division I champions, I guess.
I hope that doesn't happen, by the way.
No.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
It seems that's where we're headed. But to your point, though, I think that the only reason they didn't do past 2016 was because the lawsuit was filed in 2020 when NIL was first introduced. And I believe, what's it called in legal terms, where you can't go past a certain amount of years?
Statute of limitations.
Statutes of limitations. Yeah. So due to statute of limitations, which for that specific lawsuit was 4 years, they could only go 4 years back.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it looks like this is going to be official, where we're going to start seeing guys openly being like, "Hey, yeah, I just got a check for $2 million to go play at Alabama." But do you guys think it ruins? Do you guys think it ruins the sport at all? I mean, I've always voted for guys to get paid, but
I think it makes more sense for them to earn it.
I think what I think is that it needs some governance. The NCAA to me is a joke for multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons, especially since the introduction of NIL, has been their failure to set any parameters around it, really, right? It's pretty much been like a open sesame, whatever your state laws allow, and some of these programs like Ohio, right? The state of Ohio got on it early, right? Their legislation in the state, they were like, yo, we get these kids whatever they want. Meanwhile, states like Michigan were kind of slow to react and did it kind of definitely slower than a state like Ohio. But that's not even the point. The point is that now they have like this pool of money per year, right? It's roughly $21 million. But that can go up and down, sort of like the NFL cap, goes up based on revenue. And that money is going to the football players, right? That money might be going to basketball. You might get a track star or two that makes a check, right? But and for the most part, like your swim team isn't going to be getting a bunch of that money. Your rowing team isn't going to be getting any of that money. You know what I mean?
Hey, your two-time defending national champ lacrosse team is probably not going to get any of that money.
Right. There you go, right? So it is going to be how you divvy up that money is going to be very interesting. A school like Alabama doesn't give a shit about their rowing team or their lacrosse team. And that's all going to the football team, right? And you're going to be able to buy, you're going to see schools like that buy a bunch more players. And I don't mean to say buy them like that, because obviously that sounds like they're slaves, right?
All right.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like it is. And by the way, NIL is still looming, right? So that's just what the school can pay you. And then once you're there, let's say you get a $2 million contract from Alabama, right? Then our collective gives you another $2 million. It's going to make some millionaires for sure. Some kids are going to crash out. Don't worry about it. There's going to be lawsuits. This Jaden Rashada thing is just the tip of the iceberg. So get ready.
I think we're slowly moving. Go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
What I will say, though, about that, I have another point. Hey, get off. Sorry. I will say about like the making money and making these millionaires, I think it helps them for the league in the long run, because now these guys are actually like, they have money and they know how to handle it. Maybe they have an agent, obviously a little bit sooner than most people would, like other guys would back in the day. They can learn how to handle the money. Whereas you got guys like, to look back at my Titans, Isaiah Wilson, who all of a sudden he got money and he thought he was a rapper and played one snap as a first round pick and never played in the league again. Like he got a bag and then dipped basically. But you got guys like Caleb Williams, who, he's made probably more than his contract he just signed already in college football. So he knows how to handle that money beforehand. I'll say that's a big upside from this, from all the NIL business.
Yeah. Justin says make a cap, then the kids can sign their own deals. That's basically what this is. It's a cap space, which I think is kind of where we're at now. Our beloved college football is slowly turning from college football to minor league football at this point, which sucks. But let's get into the Jaden Rashada stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting. This is going to open its own can of worms of itself. So Jaden Rashada is suing not the University of Florida themselves, but is suing the collective, the owner of the collective, and head coach Billy Napier for $13.5 million due to him signing his national letter of intent back in 2023 with Florida, flipping from Miami due to them offering him $13.5 million up front. I believe that he was supposed to receive, once he got to campus, $9.5 million, and then the other was incentives. Well, he was there for a month, did not receive it. Allegedly, there was a contract that was signed between Rashada, his family, Bailey Napier, and this collective owner. And Rashada is alleging that Billy Napier and the owner of the collective, the Gator Collective, knew that they didn't have the means or the money to pay out while signing this contract. So first things first, what are your guys' thoughts on the lawsuit? How do you guys think this plays out, and what's next in terms of college football with NIL after this?
I mean, I kind of alluded to it a minute ago. I think NIL should be prove it based, truthfully. I don't think anything should be able to be signed. I don't think anything should be signed until you prove it. I think what would be a good kind of way to stop this kind of stuff is, one, what are you doing? Is one, make the team for one. That's a start. Start a football game. There's another one. Say play more than 10 games in your college career before you can. Okay, jeez and rice. Oh my goodness. Play more than 10 games in your college career before you can sign any contract. In my opinion. I mean, there are certain things such as the new NCAA football game. I think you should be able to sign, you can sign off on that if you want to be in the game, maybe make a little extra cash. Obviously, they're not paying them millions, thousands even. But if you want to make a little extra cash, be in the NFL or be in the college football game. But as far as these $9 million contracts, I think you got to prove it. I don't think you should be able to just, before you even touch the football field or even the practice field, be able to sign a contract.
Phil?
I disagree with that. And I disagree because it's called name, image, and likeness for a reason, right? If nobody felt like these kids' name or their brand or their skills, right, were worth it, then nobody would pay them, right? If that collective didn't think that Jaden Rashada was who they $13 million worth of a player, they wouldn't have done it, right? Or wouldn't have tried to do it. Obviously, they didn't have the means to do it. But so I agree in a sense that these guys haven't proven anything. Maybe you shouldn't be offering them $13 million out of high school, right? But in this case that you do, egg on your face, right? It's not their fault that they got offered $13 million. You did that. So these collectives, these boosters, they have options. You don't have to do it, right? You could wait and see and pay a Bo Nix, right, who proved it, and then give him $13 million. Wait and see Michael Penix Jr. proved it, give him $13 million. But instead, you guys are trying to get the best thing out of high school, the hottest thing smoking, the number one player in the country, whatever, the number one quarterback in the country, guy who just won the Elite 11, whatever, and give him $13 million to maybe be a star at your school, to maybe be a starter at your school, right? So I think if idiots want to be idiots and pay kids that have done nothing to come to their school, let idiots be idiots.
Yeah, I don't think you can really blame the kids for this.
Let me.
Hey, go ahead.
rebut that. I do not disagree with that. I do agree with let idiots be idiots. But I feel as far as like laws that can be put in place, whereas even going back to your like your different states have different rules and laws that they can go by. I think there should be a set law throughout college football where it's like you have to play a certain amount of games, or you have to at least make the football team. Because you can get a scholarship and not make the football team. I mean, they can, if you half-ass it, they can cut you from that team, and then all of a sudden you're $13 million richer just because you signed a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. You didn't even make the team. So I think there's got to be something there that says you have to put in at least a little bit of work. Because you got guys in college in high school football that, I mean, they got by because they were 6'5", 250.
Yeah.
And that didn't turn out to be anything. I mean, there's a kid in Florida. I don't know if he's in college football yet. I would actually like to look this up, but he's only got one arm. He broke Derrick Henry's rushing record in the state of Florida.
Wow.
And Alabama's not calling him. He's not getting $13 million contracts, stuff, because he's, I mean, this little white kid with one arm that is just works his ass off. Mm-hmm. So I just, that's where my point of that is just like I think there has to be some sort of prove it put in place. But yeah, let idiots be idiots. I do. I do feel that as well. Let Florida do Florida things.
So what do you guys think happens in this Rashada lawsuit? Do you think because a contract was signed allegedly, do you think that Florida should, or not Florida, but Billy Napier and this other guy should have to pay him that $13.5 million, or do you think that nothing will end up happening with this lawsuit?
If they have the paper, if it's paper,
mm-hmm.
then Florida's screwed. They're gonna have to pay it. I mean,
I honestly hope they did sign something.
Me too. Me too.
I do think, and a lot of people aren't talking about this angle with this, though, is that with this Rashada stuff, right? Obviously, he's not the only player in college football that has had NIL promised to him, material things promised to him, thinking back to Jordan Addison, who was promised a private jet to enter the portal and go to USC, which he never ended up getting, by the way. If this ends up becoming a precursor to kids suing because they were promised something and never got it, then at that point, doesn't that allow the schools to say, hey, we had this NIL agreement signed with you. It was a 2-year deal. You ended up leaving the transfer portal, so we're going to sue you to get our money back.
Yeah. If they have that on paper, they should be able to sue as well. Yeah. That's how contracts work.
And I don't think
if you breach the contract, we can sue you. Yeah.
It's gonna open a whole can of worms, but now let's get into college football.
I agree with Justin, by the way, who says they'll settle. I agree with that, by the way.
Oh yeah.
If it gets to a point, they'll probably settle for less than $13 million.
Because think about, I mean, you got to think about Rashada right now. He's still getting paid at ASU. So, like, it's not like he's not making money. It's just not, obviously $13 million or $9 million, whatever it was that he was promised.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll take an extra even $5 million.
Yeah. But let's get into our next topic here. The EA College Football 25 trailer dropped about a few weeks ago by now. And want to get your guys' thoughts because we didn't get to talk about it till now. I can't play the audio due to copyright, but I can play the video. So when you guys first saw this, what was your guys' thoughts, and what do you think about the trailer?
I mean, the graphics, fantastic. I mean, from what we're seeing right now, obviously is an actual gameplay, but graphics look awesome. I saw a lot of, so there was a lot of people are talking about, is it going to be the same as I'm seeing that big boy that you were talking about, by the way.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are talking about, like, is it going to be like Madden? Is this? They're saying that it's not. However, some of the animations that I saw in this, just even this intro or this preview, were like Madden animations. So
Yeah.
there are some things that were added, obviously, from Madden. But like that stiff arm animation that the Don had, like that's a Madden animation. That spin move is a Madden animation. So there's going to be some things from it. So we're just going to have to deal with that. Another thing I saw that I thought was really cool was the change in the crowd, how the crowd's a little bit different. I saw this. There was a version of the Oregon crowd where it was actually striped, like green, yellow, which I thought was really cool. We don't do that, but I thought it was pretty sweet. Yeah, those are my takeaways.
So for me, somebody who's been playing, who played the EA college football game for years, and was very hurt when they decided not to make it because of this whole NIL mess to begin with. I was excited. Obviously, like he said, I don't play Madden anymore. I haven't played Madden in a few years. So I'm not up to date on like the Madden animations per se, but this looks good. One of the things that I appreciated about the old NCAA football games though was that the engine seemed to be completely different from Madden, right? The game feel, it was completely different from Madden, and I would hope that they, kept that unique, although, as Lucas is saying, some of the animations do look like they are from the Madden engine, but hopefully it's not a lot, and hopefully it is like its own unique experience. We know that it will be with some of the options that you can do in the college football game. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the what does NIL look like on the video game, right? Yeah.
Can I point something out real quick, Ryan, before you get your thoughts?
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic that they showed Ohio State guy getting stiff-armed, and immediately after you see a play with Kyle McCord on Syracuse,
right?
Which I think is the most disrespectful thing of all time to Ohio State. Somebody is clearly
that's not even the most disrespectful fan. Ohio State definitely took the L in this preview, right? They got the stiff arm right here. Pause it right here.
Yep.
Look at that scoreboard. By the way, that's the trophy that Illinois and Ohio State played for, which means Illinois beat Ohio State. And then that score.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It's a turtle.
That score says that Illinois beat Ohio State by scoring 52 points. So
to 42.
The other state definitely took the L.
Dude, there's a Michigan fan on here.
It is. The guy who, and he was on board before too. He's left EA for a while to go work on 2K, NBA 2K, but now he's back at EA, and he is a Michigan
That's
fan.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I love
that.
Dude.
So in what world does Illinois put 52 points up on Ohio State?
in NCAA, man.
You know what's funny about this
a world I want to live in. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
What's hilarious about this picture, this screenshot right here, is that trophy, right? When I was watching the trailer, I had no idea what it was because I've never seen it before.
Right.
Because I've never seen Illinois beat Ohio State. So it doesn't come out, So when I saw this, I'm like, I had to Google it. I'm like, what is it? It's like, oh, it's a turtle, like that. Anyways, yeah, they definitely got a lot of realistic things here, like Ohio State dominating Michigan. Another thing I thought that was pretty unrealistic was see, let me get that up here.
Like Ohio State dominating Michigan.
No, Michigan dominating Ohio State.
Right.
is this right here. The
was
Coliseum
pretty
will
cool.
never be this full. So that's not realistic, Madden, or not Madden, EA. You might need to fix that.
All right.
Maybe make it like little patches with tarps over whole entire sections to make it look pretty realistic. But other than that, it looks really good. I did see that it was pretty hilarious. I was telling Lucas about this. This Clemson guy right here, number 64, complained and said that I'm an offensive lineman and I get that I'm big, but I'm not that big, and posted a picture of himself. So I think EA could definitely fix the player models because that's why you want to issue with them in Madden is the clunkiness. But
and the offensive linemen that are big in Madden, they have like a set look. I remember when I don't think it was this year, it was the year before, Taylor Lewan, who he's a pretty I wouldn't say skinny dude, but he's like not a heavy offensive lineman.
Right.
They made him like fucking massive in Madden, and he was like all pissed off about it on Twitter. He was like, "What the hell? Why are they making me so big?" He's like, you look at him now, he looks like Ryan Tannehill. The guy's skinny.
Yeah, what's up, Sean?
So you're going to talk about EA college football
And I have our
and
boy
not
on.
invite me. Had
What's
to
up,
join
man?
the conversation real quick. So, what y'all on right now? The reveal trailer? Or?
Yeah, we were talking about the trailer and how unrealistic the Coliseum was because it was full. How realistic it was that Illinois and Michigan were dominating Ohio State.
Yeah, that's the realistic part, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, like they said, every team is someone's favorite team.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
And we know who the Devs' favorite team is. Don't we, Phil?
Right.
Did you I don't know if you've gotten this far yet. I don't know if y'all talked that the gameplay trailer's coming out tomorrow, and then B
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to them talk about specifically Dynasty and Road to Glory and like feature details within that. So I didn't know if you.
No, we haven't talked about that yet.
You're actually
Okay.
getting ready to get into it.
Yeah, let's finish the trailer and then we can.
So we pretty much finished the trailer. One last thing I did want to get into, and I thought this was pretty interesting from a Notre Dame perspective, is evidently we have new jerseys, new home jerseys. So no more of the white on the shoulder. It's going to be a pure, shiny gold Notre Dame logo on the shoulders, and I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, from outside perspective, Lucas and Phil, how do you feel about that look?
I mean, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I think the devs that put together this trailer were lazy and not putting Oregon uniforms on here.
Yeah, they just gave y'all a duck on a bike. That was.
I know they're the hardest uniforms to make because they're the most unique, but a little lazy on their part.
You have to have the best mascot in the trailer, though.
That is fair. That is fair. I do like the gold. Now that you're really mentioning it, and I'm noticing it for the first time, it does clash a little bit weird with the white numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I do find that a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
It looks good. I mean,
and you got the blue ND on the gold pants too.
I think if they bordered the gold with a white border, it would look good.
Look better. Yeah.
I mean, just the white's very classic. But I mean, our Notre Dame fans everywhere are like, "Oh, EA sucks. They messed up the jerseys." And I was like, "You realize that like these schools sent these jerseys like specifically to them." So, but I mean, it. I think it's gonna look different. We have to see it in real life before we can really judge, though.
I will say that I don't like the Under Armour patch on the neck. Like to me on these jerseys we look like Washington. Because Washington's got their little logo on the neck, They've got the gold stuff on the shoulder. It like I don't like it. It depends on how the gold looks, but if it looks like it does here, where it's kind of like a brown, I don't like it. But if it's like a shiny gold where it kind of stands out, it might look pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked better in the when you guys were slapping the champion sign,
Yeah.
play like a champion, than it does here on the field.
The college football revamped helmets look fantastic.
That's another thing. Like they can never get the gold right. They can never get the gold on the helmets right.
I think I want to wait to see. I will say they looked a little dull in the tunnel, but I think here in the sunlight, or I want to see what they look like during night games in the game with the lights going off of them. So, I mean, with what we've seen so far, I'm not ready to judge that, but that is something that I noticed too.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get into the gameplay stuff that came out today and yesterday. And can I get your guys' thoughts on that? So they confirmed that Road to Glory, you will not be able to play at high school. You will pick a star rating and you will pick your school that you start at. And there will be about an hour, or no, there's like a 10-hour story mode that you'll play through, kind of like with cutscenes and all that stuff. And
there's no cutscenes.
I thought that's what it said. It was like it's gonna be like how Madden used to be.
It's not gonna be even close to what it's gonna be. Completely freedom, like the old games. They said that no high school like the old games,
which sucks.
But yes, I agree completely. That's the only biggest negative thing I had. But they said that what they're doing is, so you start out, you load in, you choose your star ranking from 2 to 5 star, which has different overall ratings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You choose that, you create your player, and then you pick things about your player that are important to you, about 3 to 5 things, whether that's academics, close to home, playing time, all that stuff. You pick 3 to 5 things, and then schools that can offer those things will recruit you. Then you choose that school that you want to go to. Then it's pretty much let's see what I can do as a college player. No cutscenes, really. It's more of like a balance as a college student. So it's going to be like, this week we're getting ready for a game. I have a test in a week. You have to balance your GPA. They announced today, actually, that you can be academically disqualified for a season in Road to Glory. And
so NCAA. So the last one to do that is, every time I talk, she just screams, "Hey, quit!" The last game to do that, I believe, was NCAA 11.
Yeah,
where they actually have the GPAs and whatnot. I was talking to Ryan about this earlier on how I would love it if they added that back in. I thought it added a really cool piece to the actual college life. There was another, I want to say it was NCAA 07, where you could actually put stuff into your dorm room as well. Yes. I wonder if are they gonna add
you cannot do that. No
dorm room. Okay.
Now, they did say that they wanted this mode to be one that you can play multiple times, change out, right? So whether you want to be a low recruit, earn it, this and that. Things they said were important were like 3 major things that you making the right decisions, they changed, and they're really going to give you decisions that are going to be 50-50. Like, do I want to go out with my teammates and earn team trust, or do I want to study for my test? And there's no really balance for it. So you really have to decide which you're going to have to do, which impacts how you play, if you play, all that stuff. And they even went into depth saying that, 1, if you play 4 games or less, you get redshirted. But 2, if your coach leaves in Road to Glory, if you stay at that school, you have to rebuild all your coach trust. So you have to decide if you want to follow him to his school, go to a different school, or stay at the school you're at. Right? And then they announced this is the only thing I've seen to have to do with Madden, This one, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed like the other ones, but they said that you should be able to transfer your Road to Glory player to the My Player in Madden.
Okay. I saw something that they aren't able to do the draft classes, though.
No, for legal reasons, right?
Yeah.
But Road to Glory, that's the biggest thing people are bummed about with high school. But out of all things that they had to leave out, let's be honest, in the old games, high school was very easy. It was very easy to get your stars up. It was very easy to get 8 touchdowns against high school.
I know, but the whole point, like I created my actual own high school, and we're playing like that. That was the part I liked.
That was the road. That's what people are complaining about, saying it's the road to glory, right? They added the Heisman Trophy. They didn't add NIL in the game, but they added similar things. But the thing that they came out and said was that Dynasty was the mode they put most attention to.
Yeah.
But Road to Glory, I mean, that's going to be stacked too. Don't get me wrong.
I do think another negative that I thought with this game is 2 things. College Game Day is not going to be a part of it.
Yes.
Neither will the ESPN score bug. So we won't have any ESPN licensing with this, which I thought was pretty cool with the older games.
Yep.
And then you have Online Dynasty will not be crossplay.
Yes, that's the biggest bump.
It's like, I was telling Lucas this earlier. You've had 5 years to work on this game. Crossplay is in Madden now in every game mode. Crossplay is in this game and every other game mode. Why isn't it in?
Yeah.
And I understand that their logic was, well, we want to make sure everything goes smooth.
Yeah.
We don't want people to lose their data with their leagues like they have in the past with Madden. But you've had 5 years to work on it. If this was like a yearly release, I can understand that excuse. But you've had 5 years. You've had 5 years. I mean,
what they said about it, what Matt Brown at least said in his newsletter relating to that was, EA said, listen, we had 5 years, 3 years, whatever, to work on this game. They're not going to be able to have everything everybody wants right away, and if they delayed it again, it would cause chaos. They said with cross-compatible, that's something to look for next year, but the coding for this year, with everything they added, it was just something that they, didn't feel was as important yet and couldn't really figure out by the time release came, right? Mm-hmm. I agree. That was a big bump for me, being cross-compatible with Dynasty. But you have to think, too. Yeah, they've had 3 to 5 years to work on this. But during COVID, they had actors in Canada running down hills to replicate Clemson running down the hill. They've had to do every tradition at all these players. The level of detail that they've had to add, building this game from scratch, virtually. They can't use any of the old ones. Building this game from scratch, they wanted it to be more of it's back, enjoy it. Then they're gonna. You have to think Madden that just was added a year or two ago, right? Mm-hmm. So I do agree. Cross compatible is something I wanted, but I hate. Listen, I'm not an EA lover. I don't defend EA, but I've seen a lot of interviews with them, reporters who are unbiased that have gone and looked at this game, and they've said that at bare minimum, what you have to understand is you can tell that they tried. They tried their best with this game. But I'm excited to talk to you about before I go is Dynasty. That's the one that I got a lot of information for today. And if y'all want to talk about that, I can definitely let y'all know some things.
Yeah, definitely want to hear about it.
Yeah, so coaching carousel's back.
Cool.
That's a big one that I saw this YouTuber that I watched that went and played gave this today a few hours ago. Mm-hmm. Coaching carousel's back. For the first time ever, you can hire and fire defensive coordinators.
I like it.
Good.
Now this is going to have impact with the transfer portal. Okay? So if you have recruiting and transfer portal points are going to be combined. So if you choose to put all your points into recruiting, you're not going to have a lot of points for the transfer portal. Okay? Now, recruiting is going to be just like Road to Glory when you have those traits. If your quarterback lives in Georgia and you're USC and he wants to stay close to home, I mean, if you get him out to a visit and really impress him, there's a chance you can get him, but it's not going to be likely. And they're, for the first time, bringing top 5, top 3 committing. So with those traits that they have for the players, they match with the coordinators. And if you have a coordinator that's really good and he gets fired, this guy said that if you fire a coordinator, some of the players he recruited could choose to follow him. Okay. So transfer portal's big. Recruiting's big. They said, too, schedules are very similar to NCAA 14. Can update conferences, custom conferences, put Texas back in the Big 12, put Michigan in the SEC, do what you want. I heard the Pac-12 might still be in it because of Oregon State, Washington State. So you might be able to bring the Pac-12 back out.
Yeah, the 2-pack.
So yeah, you got your custom conferences, you got your traditions, everything with the games, the 12-team playoff. You will not be able to change the playoff format, I believe.
Which is dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah, that was a blow. Off season though, they put a lot of attention to with recruiting, the transfer portal, coaching carousel, the top 25 rankings, toughest places to play. Pretty much everything that you remember playing Dynasty for is pretty much coming back. Coaching trait points. I don't know if you remember that when you had to choose if you wanted to be a recruiter or if you wanted to be a game manager. That's back. So, I mean, Dynasty is what they put most attention to. What is there anything for Dynasty that you're hoping is in Dynasty that you're nervous about or won't be in it? Or
I don't think there's anything for me because it was pretty simplistic in 14, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But something that I was talking to Ryan about earlier, and something I'm really kind of worried about, and obviously these YouTubers, you got guys like Bordeaux, who he does a lot of simulation videos, right? How is the AI in this new one? Because the AI in NCAA 14 and even in the newest Madden is dog water. It's terrible. I was telling Ryan, like you'll have a down by 2 or whatever at the end of the game with like 30 seconds left, and you got the AI running the football. Like it just makes absolutely no sense. So I'm hoping, even for the sake of just these YouTubers that I love to watch, that the AI is actually a lot better in this new game for simulation purposes.
I agree. And even just straight simulation, I hope that it's kind of like 14 in the sense where if you simulate Dynasty, maybe you get to see Army in the Natty or something, right?
Right.
So, I think they said, and don't quote me on this, I think they did say for gameplay with what they're doing with the what's it called, the resiliency, the health and boost thing that I don't know what it's called, that's going to give AI more logic. They said the logic of the offensive line was better, but I haven't heard anything about logic of just the CPU as a whole. The only thing I've heard is that when you play the Alabamas and Michigans, it's definitely going to be noticeable compared to playing Kennesaw State. That was the only thing AI-wise I've heard, is that you can really tell the difference.
That's the one thing I did like about 14 was that even if you were like, say I was playing as Georgia or Alabama, there were games against teams like a Kent State or like a Miami, Ohio that for whatever reason would just randomly be harder.
Yeah, you're playing Heisman, and it's like there's no like actual difference between the overalls. You'll get a quarterback that just breaks every tackle, and they're playing for like Ohio.
Yeah.
You're like, why is this happening? And then the next game you play, Alabama, and you run you run over them for whatever reason.
But I think, Lucas, I like that a little bit because that's kind of how college football is sometimes, where you'll have a game where Georgia will blow out Alabama by 28. They'll go play Kent State, and they'll win on a last-second field goal.
Yep.
That's just how college football is sometimes, and I kind of liked how the game was like that before. But if they're going to make it to where it's like almost impossible to see upsets because of the talent differential.
It's not going to be impossible. They're just saying that you'll notice playing against a 5-star recruit than a 2-star recruit. But I hope, you still have those upsets. They also said gameplay wise, kind of small, but when you kick field goals or something, the first 5 times you do that, you are 100% shanking it. Like it is a completely new kicking style in this game compared to, and they said the reason they did that was because college kickers aren't like the NFL where it's as automatic. So they wanted to make it where it's more difficult for field goals.
That's going to piss me off.
Yep, that's going to be
that's going to be one.
Matt Brown said he shanked his first 3 punts for like 10 yards. It pissed him off. And then editing players. You will not be able to edit players or their attributes. Okay?
Oh.
You can't change Dylan Gabriel's speed. You can't change his throwing power. You can do it for recruits and team builder and custom players, but you can't do it for all real players.
Interesting. Is that that's like mid dynasty, or is that like at all?
At all. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. At all. You won't be able to. They said you will not be able. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're also going to block you from creating players that opted out, like Arch Manning. So I don't know how they would do that or how they could do that, but.
Well, it's also being reported that you can't even you can't, like, if a player is already in the game, you can't edit their like equipment or anything. So like if I'm Travis Hunter and they make Travis Hunter have the 2 sleeves,
yeah,
and the visor and everything, you can't change that.
No.
I thought the opted out players thing is kind of whack, because like, what if you want to like make yourself and your name is also Arch Manning, and you're like, shit, I can't even make myself because the names Arch and Manning together are off limits.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna be Arch Mannings or something.
Mannings, Arches Mannings.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, because I know y'all know last week they were all in Orlando, especially that Bordeaux guy. I follow him a lot too, Lucas.
Yeah, I like him.
They were all in Orlando. I like Orlando. They all got to play, and now this week they're kind of coming out with things. And I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, take it with a grain of salt. They were there at EA. But if all these YouTubers, like 10 of them, who are coming out and reporters for On3 who have no affiliation with EA, come out and say, this feels nothing like Madden, I think we can put the Madden stuff to rest, The reason, the old EA games were built on the same engine, and they also didn't feel like Madden. So I think people are just trying to hate because it's EA, but I don't think this is going to be like Madden at all.
Well, that's a positive.
I Maverick was talking about, I don't know if you guys watch him, but he was talking about there's a whole new passing mechanic that's completely new to football games. I've yet to see his video on it. But I did see him put out the video that says that there's a whole new passing mechanic. So that'll be interesting on how they'll do that.
And then I think the thing they're doing with that is the trajectory of the football is the main thing. The release too. So I don't know. I haven't seen any gameplay, but he did say that there's going to be a new passing. They also said there's no X factor, and that there will be abilities, but I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, of course, what they are, but I don't know really what the abilities are going to be like. Like, is it going to be I'm a senior and I'm not going to be rattled in a away game? Or is it going to be that I can break tackles easier? I don't know what it's going to be, but they do have abilities.
I don't mind that. I was actually saying that I like the X factors and abilities thing. I know a lot of people don't. But I like them because it gives you like instant, like you're doing well with that player. You know, like
you can't do that in the new game because like they have wear and tear. Like if you abuse a player, like let's say I'm Donovan Edwards and I break out for a 90-yard touchdown run. If you don't bench him and rest him for a drive, he's going to be slower. He's going to be more likely to get injured. Like that, you have to substitute people in this game. They said they wanted it to be like that. I mean, I agree. X Factors can be fun because it's like. I mean, I agree. I mean, I just don't like X Factors for the reason it feels too video game-ish. I'd like it to feel kind of real. I know it's a video game, but I still want it to feel real. The last thing that I saw is running game looks more rewarding for things. Like it's Madden, it's either you get stuffed for 1 yard or you get an 80-yard touchdown. There's no in between. They said it's more if you hit the right hole, you're going to get certain situations.
Pause. Hey, yo.
Proof.
Yeah,
that's the proof.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. Hey guys, I am gonna peace out because she needs attention. So
yeah,
you guys.
Well, real quick, Lucas, we wanted to get. We'll pull this up really quick. Because I wanted to get your thoughts on the top 25. Because Oregon is.
All right, have fun.
All right, peace, man.
Peace.
Anyway, we got the top 25 ESPN came out with. We'll go over it quickly so Lucas can get out of here. But what were your guys' thoughts on the top 25? A certain team starts by the name with an N is in the top 5.
Far too high.
And a certain team that starts with the letter M is
in the right spot.
That's too low, bro.
Look, man, I think that's a good spot for Michigan to start. I mean, with the amount that they have lost since last season, like I think it's a good spot for them. This is just a start. I think teams such as Arizona's too high. I don't think they should be in the top 25.
Really?
Yeah, you got the Fafita factor, but is he going to do the same thing in year 2?
With
I have
McMillan?
no idea.
They've got
especially with a new head coach.
Where's Colorado?
Where they belong. Right where they belong. You guys really gotta. I don't know if you've watched Dion, but you guys gotta watch it because
I have not. I will watch it though.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
It's only a couple episodes that are like an hour long, but
yeah,
it's you start to feel bad you start to feel bad. It gets to a point, but I like seeing VT in there. Shout out Connor. Seeing Virginia Tech in there.
Too high.
I think they like the opposite of Michigan. They brought back everybody.
Yeah, I do think they will be. If they didn't start in the top 25, I think they would have been in the top 25.
So think about this though. We've got.
I think NC State is far too high.
Really?
Yes, it's NC State, brother. They should not be that high.
With Grayson McCall?
I don't care. They shouldn't be over LSU. They shouldn't be over. I think Tennessee's probably too high too. Now that I see it,
yeah, I think Tennessee is too high. I think Utah is too high. I think
Utah.
Missouri's too high.
Really?
I like Missouri where they're at.
Yeah, I think Missouri's a top 10 team.
I like Missouri where
they
they're
might
at.
Be top 10, but they're not better than Michigan.
I think Ole Miss Unfortunately, I like them starting there. Unfortunately, I think Ole Miss is going to end up being one of those teams that they do every year where they just like put them super high because of the roster, and then they lose 4 games. They're like an old USC, when they put them at number 2 in the country and they lost like 5 games. I mean, no real complaints. I mean, I think they got the top 4 pretty much dialed. You can interchange those guys wherever you want.
You don't think Texas lost a lot?
I think they kept the best quarterback in college football. So,
oh my God.
I mean, you could argue him and Dylan Gabriel, but I would say it's probably Quinn Ewers is probably the best quarterback in college football.
They
have Isaiah Bond, who is the best wide receiver for Alabama. So
my only argument
I
think Oregon should be 2. I think Oregon is the second best team in terms of pure talent.
You have been sucking off Oregon for a year and a half now.
No, I haven't, dude.
It's embarrassing.
Have you realized the amount of guys they brought in the portal that are going to be insane?
I mean, our roster is definitely top 2 in the country. There's no doubt. But we shouldn't be – I think we're in a good spot. I think we could be 3 over Texas. But like I said, the quarterback thing, it's Texas,
what did Ohio State do? They lost their entire team too.
No, they didn't.
They brought back
everybody. They brought back a bunch of people.
They lost their best receiver.
But they probably have the best defender in the country in their secondary.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Will Johnson.
Full stop.
Whatever. No. Ben Morrison. Let's be real here.
You got to stop with this Ben Morrison.
Okay. I'll give you 1A, 1B, and Caleb Downs and Will Johnson. Ben Morrison sits down at number 2.
No, that's disrespectful.
Ben Morrison wasn't even the second best defender on his team last year.
He was not.
Let's not forget that.
Xavier Watts was 1. Who was
Xavier Watts and Cam Hart, brother?
Right.
Cam Hart was not better than Ben
yes, he was. You
last
admitted
year?
that. You literally said that. You have said that.
Bro.
Come on. But I think the top 4 is correct. Dude,
Do you think Miami and the USC should be in there?
Yes.
I don't think USC should be in there.
I don't.
I think as long as Lincoln Riley's the head coach, USC is going to be in the top 25. At least to start the season.
I think
I'm
Dan
surprised they're
Lanning
not
being
higher.
the head coach no disrespect, by the way. I'm about to say something disrespectful. It's not meant to be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. I think Dan Lanning being the head coach at Oregon is the reason that they're not top 2. No disrespect to Dan Lanning. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. However, until Dan Lanning wins a big game, I have to say it.
Could you say Jim Harbaugh's first 2 years?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Marcus,
I'll take that.
The only reason Notre Dame's not number 1 is because we have Marcus Freeman as our head coach.
And your roster is not better than the top 4, but
bro, Notre Dame being number 5 is kind of disrespectful. I'm gonna be
it's
real
super disrespectful to the teams below them. At least the bottom 4 teams.
I love it.
See, that roster's. I think Notre Dame has a very good roster.
We might have the best defense in college football. Like we might legitimately have the best defense. Yes.
You got a decent defense. You got a good top defense. 5 defense.
I still think that you have a liability at quarterback.
Riley's better than Sam.
If he plays.
He's going to play.
Nah,
and even if he doesn't,
here's the crazy part.
CJ Carr's the future.
Last year at this time, Lucas,
Sam Hartman was the next coming of Jesus Christ.
Couldn't tell this man nothing about Sam Hartman. And if you would have said last year at this time that Riley Leonard was better than Sam Hartman, he would have read you the 3rd degree.
Hey, you know what? I don't want to hear it because Lucas sat here on this show and said, with Sam Hartman, I really like that. Notre Dame should go 11-1 with Sam Hartman and make the playoffs.
They should have. But the problem was Sam Hartman turned out to be terrible, and Marcus Freeman is not a good head coach.
I told you guys last year at this time that Sam Hartman was impressive in the ACC, but the problem was it was the ACC.
And it was the slow mesh offense. Let's not get that twisted.
And we're going to see the same problem with Ohio State.
Oh, Will Howard is.
I can't wait.
Bro, Bill, have you heard the Ohio State fans calling him Bill Howard?
First of all,
yes,
Ohio State should be number one. They should be the number one team, right? They won the offseason. They're the offseason national champs. They should be the number one team in the nation to start the season, only for them to descend hard and heavy. Pause. Yeah.
Dude, I hope to God that something happens so we can hear it wasn't Ryan Day's fault. It was Will Howard's fault. And then they'll ship off Will Howard.
I want Ryan Day to run into Lou Holtz in the.
You know what? I'd take Lou Holtz in his prime any day.
I'd take Lou Holtz right now.
I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait to play. I can't wait for them to come to Autzen and just. Oh my goodness! I can't.
Bro, you know what? I was in a space the other day with a bunch of Ohio State fans and Oregon fans. Ohio State fans sat there straight faced and said, "We're not afraid of Oregon. What is Oregon going to do?"
I believe them. They're not smart enough to realize that they should be worried.
Lucas, did you hear that?
They can't. I promise you, they have never. They have. I don't care. You could be in a whiteout at Penn State. I don't give a shit. They've never seen Autzen Stadium. They have never seen Autzen Stadium. They will never see something like Autzen Stadium, and they are going to get pounded. I promise you they're going to get pounded. Our closest game, and the only game that I said we were going to lose this year, was to Michigan in the Big House. It's the only game that I say that we're going to lose. I don't think it's going to matter in the long run because I think that all three of those teams are going to be in the college football playoff. But we are going to absolutely dismantle Ohio State in Autzen State.
Are you bringing back CJ Verdell for that game? Just to strike fear into Ohio State fans?
We're going to make sure that Kayvon Thibodeau is on the sideline.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah. All right, guys. I got to get out of here, though.
All right, let's finish it. But anyways, guys, this has been the Week 0 podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks from now. We're going to start getting into our conference previews, start breaking down who we think will win each conference now that the portal and everything's closed. We'll also have a big announcement. We got a new partner for the channel and the podcast. So we'll announce everything like that 2 weeks from today. Anyways, guys, great show. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.